Season 15 just hit us, meaning that you are all doing your placements right now and you need to know the best heroes for the season as well as some placement tips. Today, I've got the best 6 heroes in this meta as well as 3 important placement tips. My name is Nate and welcome to Blizzard Guides. The way this is going to work today is I'm going to have those 6 hero tips and the 3 placement tips. I'm going to start off with the tank, then DPS, and then the support category, and after that I'm going to put the tips. Should be pretty fast and pretty helpful. Also, really quick, make sure that you check out our Battle Royale Guides channel where I'm going to be covering Apex Legends content. We've got a $100 Apex coin giveaway going on over there. With that said though, let's get into this video. Starting us off with the first hero, Wrecking Ball. He's just getting stronger and stronger as the meta moves away from goats, and I think that even with just the current patch we're playing on, he's insanely strong. However, once Baptiste sits live and the PTR changes move on as well, he'll be even stronger. He's by far the best tank in the game right now, it's just that he's limited by the current meta. One important tip is that you need to limit your pile drive usage only when you know for a fact that the enemy doesn't have a stun up. If the enemy brig has a stun, then you can't pile drive in. It's just way too easy to stun a pile driving Hammond, and that will in fact kill you if you do get stunned. Also, if the enemy does have a stun heavy comp, you're better off just swapping to a different tank at that point, since Hammond is really only limited by the presence of a lot of stuns, and also a Reaper sometimes, so also if there's a Reaper, probably you want to switch. And after that, for the off tank, we have Zoria. Zoria's in here not because she's good as a standalone tank or because she's strong in the default meta, but because she's the kingpin of the GOATS comp, and she'll work in any situation where you have a lot of tanks or a lot of supports. My biggest tip is that once you reach about 80% charge, in my opinion, it's just better to save the ally bubble for whenever your teammate is definitely gonna die, instead of just using that against something like Diva's missiles, where your main tank is most likely not gonna die. Instead, you should use your personal bubble to keep up the high charge, and your ally bubble to save people from stuff like Reinhardt's charge or maybe a high noon, stuff that will instantly kill that person. Now moving on to the third hero in this list and the first in the support category, Ana. She's still by far the best main healer in the game. Mercy just doesn't heal enough and Moira is just pretty weak at the moment. This will definitely change when Baptiste sits live, or probably not. Or maybe, to be honest, nobody really knows. I still think that Ana will be comfortably queen of the matchmaking meta come the end of season 15, so it's safe to put her in this spot, even when Baptiste comes to live. My biggest advice is just to remind you that your nade is the strongest part of your kit, and that you don't have to be afraid to go for big antis against the enemy if you think you can land your shots after throwing that nade. Also, if you know that you're going to have a flanker or something like that just jumping you, consider saving your sleep dart just in case that enemy comes your way. Otherwise, if they don't have anything like that, you can just launch your nade into the bulk of the enemy and hope for a sleep. That's usually what I do, and it ends up working pretty well. After that, at number 4, for the off healer or flex support should I say, Lucio. Brigitte finally isn't quite as broken, and with the PTR and Baptiste patch on the way, she'll solidly be in the not completely broken category. So however, with that said, that very same PTR patch may make Lucio a lot weaker. So if that patch is out on live when you're watching, consider Zen over Lucio, but for now, in this current meta, Lucio is the best hero in the game for off heal or flex heal. The biggest advice I can give you is just to be the person that protects your other healer. You're always generally going to have 2 healers. I mean, if you're only running one healer, don't run Lucio, run an Ana. But a good Lucio makes sure that the bulk healer never dies and worries about his team second. You have a lot in your kit to keep that person up, so please use it. Don't try and heal the allies that are low whenever your other healer is gonna die. You can heal your other healer and your other healer can heal your team. That's usually how it goes, at least at the higher ranks, and you should definitely adopt this method at the lower ranks. After that, at number 5, we're moving on to the DPS category. For this, I was originally going to put Widowmaker, but when I looked at overbuff and the statistics, it turns out that Ashe is actually a much better pick at most ranks, with a higher pick rate and win rate in almost all occasions, which completely surprised me, since I almost never see Ashe at my rank and I usually see a Widowmaker. On Ashe, your best tool is just to use your dynamite as often as possible, which will not only put a ton of pressure on anybody who has 200 HP, but it'll also farm ult charge. You need to use that dynamite practically off your cooldown and use it to negate the enemy's shield by lobbing it above the shield and shooting it mid-air if you can pull that off. Otherwise, just throw it and don't worry about missing all of your shots trying to shoot the thing and doing that weird shame where, you can't land the shots on the dynamite. That just looks weird, it looks bad on yourself, and it'll open up an opportunity for the enemy to kill you. And last but not least, the last DPS, Reaper. Reaper is just such a strong pick right now, and he's super easy to play. I'm sure that you've seen him a ton in your games. He basically never dies as long as he's dealing damage, and he gets 2 times better if he's got a decent Zen or Lucio on his team that's carting him around or focusing his discorded targets. On Reaper, just try and use your abilities to stay behind the enemy lines, out of sight, and then once the enemy walks past a choke or walks past you, start shooting, get a kill, and then Wraith out. You basically just hide with Wraith until you can get a kill, and then use Wraith to escape or to reload and wait a moment to come up with a game plan while you're hiding in Wraith. This is a really effective strategy that not enough players use at a lower rank, so please pick this up and you'll immediately shoot up the ranks. So now let's move on to the 3 quick placement tips. At number 3, just play for your stats. I hate saying this, but it works really well for the placement matches. Just play for your stats. Go for as much damage as you can, as much flashy plays as you can, as much healing as you can, and get the biggest numbers that you can. Don't completely throw the game, but just keep in mind that getting the best stats means you get the best SR. That also means that you get low deaths. I had a few people tell me and DM me that they had really good stats, but they placed lower than they were last season, but they also neglected to mention that they had more deaths than a limb. So if that's you, try not to feed so much. Make sure that you are just keeping low deaths as well as getting all of these good stats. At number 2, don't stack with more than a duo. Stacking hurts your placements, it turns out. If you have enemies that are higher SR than you, then you'll do poorly and the placement system won't compensate enough for those higher level enemies. And if you have enemies that are lower ranked, the placement system will expect you to do more than is possible, so just don't stack for your placements if you're trying to maximize your SR. If you're not really trying to get as much SR as possible out of those placements, then stack. It's a lot more fun stacking in my opinion. And finally, at number 1, after you're done with your placements, you gain and lose a lot more SR than is usual. So if you're feeling it, go play some more games after you place, and you'll get a huge boost in SR gains, which is really nice. But if you're not careful and you do lose a few games after your placements, you actually get a huge boost in SR downwards towards bronze. So if that's not your thing, then obviously save those extra games for another day. But that's been it for today. If there's anything that you need to know, leave a comment down below and I'll try my very best to respond. Also, don't forget to enter the $100 Apex coin giveaway, and also make sure to follow our Twitter and Instagram and join our Discord. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a nice day. My name is Nate, and this was Blizzard Guides.